Okay, so it's pushing 30 years ago now. This is where this story comes from. And I was in my first parish in Lake Preston, South Dakota, 2-point rural parish. We had a number of high school students, and so many that we decided one year we were going to try and venture out and take a canoe trip. And so we went to the Boundary Waters, and we put in at Gunflint Lake and went up the Granite River. And it's not a long trip. It's not a difficult trip, but it's mostly river. And so at the first night, we stopped at a place called Guinness Lake, and we found a little campsite that's on an island, and we pitched camp there. And of course, the kids stayed up till all hours of the night. They were hoping to see the Northern Lights. We didn't see them that night. We saw them later in the trip. And they went to bed late, and I got up early. I was the only one up. And got out of my tent, rolled out of bed, and we were completely fogged in. So I started gathering up some wood for the fire, because you got to have coffee when you're over an open fire, when you're in the Boundary Waters. And as I'm sort of tooling around, I'm very quiet. Out of the fog, and it's like it's hemmed in fog. You look out over the lake, and you couldn't see the trees on the other side. It was like a white curtain that was across the front of the lake. And out of this white curtain, there appears a bald eagle. Flies right across, just like this. And then he goes back into the white curtain. 2 or 3 seconds at the most. And to this day, I still remember that. I think it may have been the first time I'd ever seen a bald eagle in the wild. And, you know, I've seen them since then. They're getting to be more and more common, right? You see them down at the Des Moines River. There's one that hangs up just south of Algona where the east branch of the Des Moines crosses 169. So I kind of know where to look for them these days, and it's still kind of special, but I still remember that first time, just like it was yesterday. And it came out of the mist, and it appeared for a couple of seconds, and it went back into the mist. Hold that thought, and let's sing. We're going to sing the first part of the first verse of Behold the Host. Did I turn that off? No, I didn't. Okay, good. That was Mark taking good care of me to make sure you didn't get any of my sounds when you were singing. Thank you, Mark. Thank you on behalf of them. They'd had to listen to me sing. Book of Daniel, chapter 7, lesson you just read. And the explanation to that lesson is kind of where I'm going as well. It's a disturbing lesson. It's a disturbing vision that Daniel has. So, out of the windswept seas, 4 beasts arise. One of them is a lion, great beast. One of them is a bear, and he's munching on rib bones, and the bones are sticking out of his teeth. One of them is a leopard, and one of them, it says, is a great beast with iron teeth. And it's a strange vision, and you know, so you start searching around for what all this means. The best explanation that I've seen comes right out of my notes in my study Bible. It says that this is probably, according to Daniel's vision, this is probably the 4 great powers while Daniel's alive, or just before, or just after. Babylon, Persia, Medes, and Greece. And these four nations had great armies, and they had great powers, and they had great influence. The kings and leaders of these nations, with their decisions and with what they did and how they acted with their armies, could change the course of the lives of millions. But you know something? They come and they go. They're here and they're gone. And with them, their strength, their might, their power, their influences comes and goes. We don't worry about the Medes army anymore, do we? That's because they've been gone for about, 1,500 years? No, 2,300 years, something like that. They've been gone for a long time. And in their place rises up other armies. There have been hundreds of armies and hundreds of nations with great power that have risen up since these times. And they've done the same thing as the great four beasts. They come and they go. They rise up out of the windswept seas and they recede back into the windswept seas. And I find that very, very interesting. Let's sing. Verse 2, first part of the verse. Okay. Today is All Saints Sunday, right? It's the day that we remember the saints who have gone before us. And in particular, we tend to remember people who are important to us, okay? And most of the time we think about people who have died, but not always. It could be somebody who's still alive, somebody who has in some way, shape, or form changed or affected the direction of your life. And if this Sunday is like other All Saints Sundays that we've had here, I've been here for 16 of these Sundays now. It's an emotional time. You come up front, you light a candle, you place that card. We're going to place it in here today. Sometimes you place it in my hand if you want. And sometimes I've seen tears. I've held hands. I've held people afterwards because it is a powerful and emotional moment to think about the people who have so changed and affected your life. Now, I'm going to bet that of all the people in this room, there are two names that will not be on those cards: Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Fair to say? Now, somebody's going to mess me up here because they're going to scribble it in now that I've said that, right? You know, it's important, right? The vote on Tuesday. But it's not nearly as important as the eagles that fly in and out of the mist. They come and they go, and they make such an impact on our lives that we remember them for the rest of our lives. And we try to be and do what they have been and done to us. We reach out to others and touch those people in the same ways that we were touched. And it's not the great and the mighty and the powerful. It's not the large armies. It's not the centers of influence. It is the touch of a hand. It is self-giving love. A love that first came from the God and Father of all things, who did not come to us with grand armies and did not sit on thrones high above, but shed it all to become a human being who gave his life for you and for me. And it is that message that changed and affected the names of the people that you've written down on your cards today. Much more powerful, much more influential than anything else in the world, any other power in the world. It's nothing compared to what God does to you and how that changes what you do for others. It is my hope, as you bring your cards forward, as you remember these people, as you weep, it is my hope that you will return to your pew ready to serve others, ready to reach out, ready to touch others. Because in the end, if the world is going to change, it's not going to happen in Moscow. It's not going to happen in Washington. It's not going to happen in Beijing. It's going to happen with you and the God who lives within you. And for that, we give him thanks and praise. Amen.